All right. So since I introduced the idea of Sweep2 to you, I'm going to go through it in a little bit more detail so you don't think that the only purpose of the sweep command is to do stuff like that. So the really basic explanation of Sweep2 is to say, you know, I need to take a curve and I need to have its profile map to basically an extrusion, but an irregular extrusion. Okay, so the simple form is, let's say in my top view, I have sort of like a curve um, like this, and then I have another curve like that. Okay, two very different curves. I could even go further and put them in a different orientation and even rotate them a little bit. So two very different skewed curves in space. The important note here is that I can basically take a any curve, and I'm going to make it very simple. So I'm going to start here and then go sort of up and then down to that. Oh, wrong side. Oops, to there. And let me make this a little more extreme. All right, so this is what we have, right? We have our two rails that are sort of on the ground here-ish. And then I have this profile curve. And I want to take this profile curve and sweep it along both of those rails, so it's going to remap to something that's irregular. So I do sweep 2, and I select the first rail here and the second rail there, and the cross-section curve would be this one, and hit enter. And so that's what it creates. It takes that profile and it just kind of maps it in and out to whatever the boundary curves are. Now it gets a little bit more interesting when you have to do something that's kind of crazier, I guess you could say, is that I could take something that has some peaks like that. Oh, I went to the wrong curve again. Let's see, we'll go up here, down there, up here, and then down there. Right, so it gets even crazier and more interesting to control, because you can take more extreme forms and create something that's rather intense, so to speak. Okay, so that's sort of the overarching Sweep2 functionality. There's also Sweep1, which you should be aware of, where basically if I don't have this surface, what it's going to do is just take that curve and perpendicularly sweep it along that edge. So Sweep1, I select this is my rail, that is my profile, and then it creates that. So this happened to be a little too extreme for it, and so it folded over on itself. But you kind of get the picture, right? More or less. So those are very free-flowing, but you saw a very free-form exploration of it, but you also saw a very, very controlled and technical application for it as well, which is what we did for our fillet. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay.